How old are humans? Meaning, how long have humans been on the planet? It's kind of a trick question depending on what exactly you mean. Homo sapiens, who we are as a human species, we've been around for at least 150,000 years, probably 200,000, and there is evidence that shows we've been here for 300 to 400,000 years. However, what we call human is the very first human species, which dates all the way back, believe it or not, at least 2.5 million years ago. Its name is Homo habilis, and that's because it was found with the very first stone tools that are also 2.5 million years ago. But more recently, stone tools were found that were 3.5 million years ago. So now, do we extend humanity back to that, or do we push it forward? That's kind of a big question right now in the field of paleoanthropology, actually. Writing develops from a specific society under a specific kinds of circumstances. Multiple cultures around the world have all developed writing, but they all had the same characteristics. These were all agricultural societies, hierarchical in nature, with food storage. Elites in these societies invented writing as a way of cataloging the food storage in order to distribute it unequally among the peasant class. Writing was never an inevitability for humanity. In fact, many of these societies have actually abandoned writing when it feels unnecessary. Oftentimes we think of these kinds of technologies as a form of progress, but progress is actually just a form of mythology that people project onto their cultures. Many cultures around the world have never had writing and never will because they don't need it. In order to understand rewilding, we also have to define its antithesis, domestication. The root of the word domestication is dom, for dome, domicile. It means house. In some early agricultural settlements, people brought their animals inside the home at night in order for protection. This gave rise to the word domestication, as in of the house. However, domestication existed long before that. The goal of domestication is to be in absolute control over another species, whether that be plant or animal. So much so that the animal or plant can no longer exist without that control. A great example is the chicken. Put a chicken in the wild, what's going to happen? It's going to die. Domestication actually weakens an animal's resilience to exist in a particular ecology. One of the hardest parts about defining rewilding or explaining what it is to people is that the majority of people actually don't even know what wildness is or what the word wild means. And so we have to start there. It helps if you think about wild as willed. So just add an L and an E in there and you get willed, right? This helps because domestication is the opposite of wildness, right? And what is the point of domestication but to break the will of an animal for control? You want to have control over that thing. And so it requires that breaking of the will. So if we look at wild as willed, even though that's not the actual etymology, it ends up making a lot more sense to us.